We're going live. It says we're going live. We're live. All right. How's it going, everybody? How's it going, chat? Welcome in. The very first episode of the Moose Pit. For those that don't know, the Moose Pit is going to be a bi-weekly media show between 3 to 4 members every 2 weeks. So for this week, I'll be hosting. The Moose Pit is a play on words, if you heard of the Mosh Pit. But yes, it is the Moose Pit, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm joined by Midnight Killer, our resident Tier 1 color commentator, our friend across the pond, Andy Rage Quit. How you doing, man? And for the first time on camera today, Jim Just Raged, our Tier 2 color commentator. So part of the dream team of the Rages in Tier 2. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Couldn't be better. It's a Thursday. It is payday eve for me, so I'm in a great mood today. So let's give a breakdown tonight. It's going to be a very low-key stream. We're not doing too much craziness, but we have user-sent-in clips tonight. We're going to look at and react to cover the first 2 weeks of MRL season. So obviously our first race was Silverstone, and our second race was just a few days in Qatar. How you doing, Gavin? What's up? Deathman, right? It's Deathman. How you doing, man? So without further ado, we're going to go down from Tier 6 all the way to Tier No Assists on that order. So basically from the beginning of when you'd expect tiers to run on Sunday to the end. So we'll look at our Tier 6 clips first. As you see, I'm very, very high quality, guys. We have a very basic background here. But I do have our first clip here. So this one comes in from Matt from Tier 6. A very spicy double overtake. So I will show this to you guys in a moment. Just give me 1 second, guys. Are you ready? Here we go. Tier 6 double overtake off of a safety car. Hold on a sec. I need to... There we go. That was quite a spicy move, huh? That was out of a safety car restart, and to 2 turns, you usually wouldn't expect to see any sort of movement, right? Because you're going into village and then out of the loop. That's a crazy move, and if you guys did miss it, Matt did get P2 in that race, and that's a big reason why.
I mean, if you're gonna make a move, it's got to be a move on the outside of turn 3 there.
Yeah, especially because it helps you carry all that speed down the straight. I just see cars going left and right, and I think he just timed it perfectly around the outside.
I know I got myself into trouble sticking my nose in, trying to make it overtake on the inside up into that turn. So yeah, that's a great move.
Yeah, and Tier 6 is one where it's just there's so much up in the air, right? Because it's a bunch of new rookies, and a lot of them do not know how to drive properly yet. But Matt did a very good job here for the inexperienced group of bunches, guys. This is pretty good. 6th to 4th in just as many corners as overtakes he did. Very impressive. And then our next clip, our last clip of Tier 6. Not a lot of clips from Tier 6, but I'll get this up here. Sorry, that is the wrong thing. Here we go. So this one is labeled Jay Morrison tries out for the Olympics. So a little bit of background here. This is a Qatar race. So it was in the middle sector, and you guys know how crazy it can get in the middle sector here. Very tight racing, and I think he had a moment here. I'll play the clip now.
All right.
A perfectly executed pirouette.
Okay.
Nothing else could really describe that whole situation besides carnage, right? That's pretty much the only way to describe that.
That's crazy. I mean, that looks a lot like what happened for me in Tier 5. Like, I was fine, and then all of a sudden I just spun around. I didn't execute a perfect 360 like that, but I mean, I feel like there was just a ton of contact going on.
You know what's crazy? He still gained positions from this. So he was in
Playing around Red Bull. Right?
I think he started in 11th, if I'm not mistaken, right? Sorry, he didn't gain positions. Excuse me. He started in 6th. I didn't realize he lost positions there. I thought with all those cars going off, That's a crazy
The
move.
Alpine also do a synchronized spin at the same time.
Yeah,
It looks
because
very
It looks like
close.
there's two of them do the spin
yeah, it
in
was just.
opposite directions.
And what's crazy is like the contact didn't look that major, right? It was like a little tap in the back at a decent speed, but they just went off in the same direction. If this was synchronized swimming, I would give this a 9.5 out of 10. How about you guys?
Easy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm a rough judge.
Still
Maybe an
after that,
8.5.
lose-
8.5, tough crowd.
Only to lose 3 spots after that is still pretty good, in my opinion.
Right. Yes, totally.
Yeah, so that does it for Tier 6's clips. But we are just getting warmed up, guys. We have some very, very spicy Tier 5 clips, as Midnight Killer is very aware of how it goes on in Tier 5. You too, Jim. But this one, I have...
And me.
And you too, because you're a reserve. I forgot Andy. How could I forget Andy? It's crazy, man. I keep forgetting.
Andy's the most permanent reserve there's been.
Have you done 2 reserve drives already, or is it just 1 this season?
2 out of 2.
2 out of 2. Anyways, let me pull up the clip here.
Points in both of them, by the way.
More than I got, so.
3 points in the season. Let's go.
Yeah, so this was from a very entertaining Tier 5 race. So this is action between Terp Charles and the guy ahead. As he was fighting off Midnight, I believe, here. It's quite a long clip, so hang in there, guys.
Oh yeah, there's a little bit of an overtake here.
I felt like we needed to see the build-up.
I mean, so I go a little wide, and he gets a hell of a run down this straight. And I mean, it was so close. As you'll see coming.
That is just saucy. I can't underestimate the amount of courage it takes to try something like that at cops, because especially a switchback, because you have to get your braking perfectly for something like that.
And especially like you're battling way up in the field. Like this is not for 1 point or 2 points. This is for
this is for a podium, pretty much. Yeah.
For double
Right.
Like, that's crazy for a Tier 5 driving. Like, and what's crazy, if you're listening to the stream commentary, I don't know if it's loud enough, but you got Giants fans saying, "Don't try anything, don't try anything, don't try anything."
Wow. It's a great move. It's a great move. It's like one of those programs, seconds from disaster, but it turns out okay.
Yeah, and this is like you couldn't think of a better move. Like you couldn't script anything better than that. Like,
And I was still going flat out, right?
Yeah.
Like, as you can see,
you're going flat out
I
there.
wasn't-
Man,
Yeah,
that is nuts.
He forced you to go so narrow that he just gained so much more speed.
Yeah.
The exit, it's just a great move. I mean, I've been racing against him for 2 seasons now, and there's a reason he's usually around the top of the standings.
Yeah. So that was crazy. That honestly, that's pretty much close to Tier 1 levels of side-by-side moving there. And we're going to see here also from this Silverstone race, and also includes you, Midnight Killer. But this, honestly, I think this is the clip of the season so far with all the tiers. For those that don't know, it was a very, very tight fight in Tier 5 in Britain, especially the first race. I'm just going to let the clip play itself, guys. I'm too excited to do this. Hold on. Let me pull it up. I'm too busy trying to like paint a picture, but I think the clip just does it better. Let's do this. Peep the lap. Hold on, sorry. I need to put my camera somewhere so you guys can see this properly. It is lap 26 out of 6, ladies. 26, ladies and gentlemen. Like,
I probably watched this about 5 times, so I know exactly what's going to happen. But
And I almost fucked up I did mess up my gears coming out of that last chicane.
I thought you were going to get a there when your tires freaking, because track limits on that corner are just so crazy.
Does that count?
Yeah, on as he comes around Stowe.
Yeah, right out of Stowe. Like he got forced off a little, and I thought you were going to get a Track.
No. It
morning.
was so close.
And I just
So close.
I just love the double take and triple take you do at the end here, Midnight. You're like, is that count? Is that a clean overtake? I'm not sure. I'll play it again, but it looked pretty clean to me. Like, it seems like the space was left. It was somewhat graceful. It looked like Toast was willing to let it happen, and I commend them for that. A lot of people, they would just turn it anyways, but he really let the racing happen and develop the way it should have been. Which, like, the huge props to Toast here. Like,
Yeah.
For sure.
That's the kind of racing we want to see all the time.
yeah, a lot of people would not swallow their pride, and they would just continue on the racing line, but not him. So.
Yeah. And then Edge would have won the race.
Yeah, Edge would have won the race. That would have been a real through goes Hamilton moment. Could you imagine if those two crash out and then Edge goes in right there at the end? That'd be mental.
It almost happened in Tier 4 too. I forgot because Pete and I were battling off the last corner, very similar to this, and Ice Cream Sandwich came in and could have won the whole race. I mean, I think he did anyway on penalty points, but I mean, he just very similar situation. It's crazy.
Yeah. So that's the end of our Tier 5 clips. So Tier 4, I'm primarily going to be focusing on the start of the Qatar race, because if you guys missed it, Tier 4's Qatar race start was pretty chaotic, although only one car DNF. We're going to look at that car's POV. This is Chosen Tolvi. Yeah, as I've labeled this, he gets horrible luck at the start of the race. Where have you heard that before, guys? Just give me one moment, guys.
Most Tier 1 races.
Yeah.
Yes. Most Tier 1 races, and anywhere it's fast and no one wants to back out. All right, well, we got the clip here, so I'll just let you guys enjoy it.
Pete on his inside.
Oh,
The only car to DNF out of that.
Oh
and
my god.
He took that so tentatively to make sure that he stayed away from all incidents on the inside.
I was gonna say that too. Like, look at the lack of speed he's carrying through this corner. He's just so,
He braked so early here.
and he still got crashed out. The only one. Like, he has to dodge not one, not two, but three spinning cars on the inside. Like, that is just the absolute worst of luck. And I do have an alternate angle from Pete that I will show here. I think this one does give a little bit more emphasis on how unlucky this was. Let me get that up. Here.
Yeah, I mean, he's done all the right things. He's taken his foot off the throttle. He's staying away from that inside corner. And all of a sudden, there's the Alpine.
Is this the... No, that's the wrong clip. Sorry. Hold on. I got the wrong clip pulled up. It wasn't going to be perfect. Was it? It was never going to be perfect, this stream.
it's all good.
Anyways, here is the
Thursday
Pete
night.
clip. Yep.
Oh, Thursday morning. Oh, it is Thursday.
Friday morning for me.
Friday morning for you.
It's the weekend, baby.
One car, MRK spins. Beepinator spins, hits him, and then just Tolby unlucky.
Oh. And it didn't even seem like Toby was going even super fast, right?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, you hit walls going that speed, you don't lose a tire, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I hit walls harder than that and been able to continue on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's just massively unlucky that Pete's hit that Alpha Tauri
Yep.
and bounced left.
Yep.
If Pete bounces right, Tolby's through.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. And MRK's asking if we're live. Yeah, we're most definitely live, MRK. I want to refresh your browser.
I'm watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm watching.
So just refresh your
good,
browser
though,
there,
yeah.
mate. But yeah, we are live. So that is it for Tier 4's clips. I didn't get a ton of Tier 4 clips, to be honest. But now we're going on to a tier that I'm very familiar with. Tier 3, as you guys know, I'm the commentator for that tier. We have 3 different clips to look at. And I think they're all pretty. They're all from the Silverstone race, to be honest. Silverstone was a hell of a race for Tier 3. I think it's up there with one of the most impressive races of the season for all the tiers. It was very, very entertaining. I'm gonna pull up this first one. So we had a shock P2 winner. So Gwenfro, if you guys know, he came up from Tier 4 last season after getting promoted from Tier 5 the previous season, which is crazy. So 3 straight seasons he's gone up a tier. And in this first clip, let me just give you guys some context behind this. So there was a VSC that came out, and it's one of those in-betweeners. Do you pit, do you not pit? And Gwenfro was the only one that chose not to pit. The most advantageous person to not pit. So I'll pull that up here. Is he gonna stay out? No. Bunju? I'd stay out if I was him. He'd be double stacking, and he's gonna continue into the pits. Wow. So he's gonna. Yeah, everyone's going in. Wow. Okay, interesting. This is a long virtual safety car. Calm. 5-second penalty for speeding, and the track goes green. They're all gonna lose time. Who has not stayed out? Gwenfro. Big call for Gwenfro. Gwenfro staying out. They're all losing time. This could be a huge shift in this race. I think Gwenfro made the right decision here. Staying out is big. Keep in mind, like, the situation, right? This is lap 10. Lap 11. So when this safety car goes green and everyone's still in the pits and they haven't got any sort of advantage from it, that's a big swing, because they're not just doing normal pit stops at that point, and it's like 2-3 laps earlier than you normally would at Silverstone, which is crazy. And I have a second clip here that'll give more explanation as to why this is so bold, because soon after this, a full safety car comes out like 2 laps later, and that swings it ridiculously in Gwenfro's direction. So I'll get that up.
VST didn't seem to last very long.
Yeah, it kind of. This is a little bit of a skewed clip, because the VSC did come out about 20 seconds before this, and like they were all at like turn 2, turn 3, so they were all trying to queue up into the thing, thinking it would last longer, but never did. Which is wild. I'm surprised so many people pulled the trigger and tried to pit there. Gwenfro himself is in chat. He's like, "Yeah, I jumped 10 people," and he did. Which I will pull up the second clip that makes this move so risky, but it paid off. I'll have that here. This one's titled "The Call Pays Off," and for obvious reasons. Give me 1 second. Let's go here. Share that. Boom. So just 2 laps later, we're on lap 13, guys.
Looking at the gap, City of R is
Yeah.
not that far behind as V-Roy's retired.
That's big. That is big. That is huge. And if you're Twan, you're kind of okay with this, because you're in the pits right now, and these guys behind you are slowing up.
Safety car, and just now you can go on to mediums. Everyone's got to catch up.
Huge move from Gwenfro. Same with Sako.
Another
They're in good movements here. They're going to be, I anticipate, by the time they come out of the pits, like 8th or 9th, around that range.
It's just like podium finish after podium.
Guys had podiums almost every single race in the race that he's finished. Oh.
Another thing, G-Smooth, he's been saved.
He has been saved.
Scored a lot of points in his first few seasons here.
Yes. Yes, he has.
So I tried to stay quiet through that clip, because I don't want to like talk over myself who was commentating. Last thing I want is an Inception kind of deal. But yeah, that was a crazy call. Keep in mind that full safety car comes out, you're in first effectively by the time you're coming out of the pits, and I think the most he dropped out was like down to 6th, I believe, by the end of this. He came out of the safety cars in 6th, and before this whole virtual safety car fiasco, he was in 12th. So big move, and then he eventually ended up finishing in 2nd at the end of the race. Bonkers. Gwenfro is a guy that squeezes water out of stone somehow. He does a very good job of these exotic race strategies, and I'm going to show the clip that got him the P2. He got some good luck after this. We'll see. It's a Carnage clip, which we will see in a second. I'll pull that up. If you are from the Haas team, you'll know this one very well. I know, Jim, you probably saw this clip. It's from he's got the hat. Yeah, I forgot to show that. He's got the custom Alfa Romeo. Change the Haas hat. But yeah, this clip, I've got it titled as Late Drama at Silverstone, because that's exactly what it was. It was late drama, for sure. So I'm just gonna let the video speak for itself. This was a wild moment and really opened the race up.
I was in the chat with Maud and Twan during this, so
He's just within that range. He's just within it. What they need,
was
what he needs,
tough to
is
watch
third and fourth to
for
fight,
sure.
And Pop-Out is
And they are gonna fight. Pap-Out's gonna go for on the outside into Stowe.
Haas are looking great right now. Pop-Out not able to get the move done.
Oh,
He's
going
gonna
into
think about it.
club,
Inside, yes, he
thinking
is.
about it. He's in. There's still
close.
Mod is right there too. He's in the mix. He's waiting for them to make a mistake. They're still fighting. Oh, I'll oversteer for Kiss. My actually gets hit by Mod from behind. No. Oh, unexpected oversteer. That's a killer. Oh, Mod. There was nothing he could have done too. Like that was just so quick. Oh no, Mod's race has capitulated. The Haas double podium is off limits now. Oh, that's a killer.
Obviously, hindsight is 2020, but looking at the clip, I don't know who was in the Alfa Romeo, but it looked like he didn't need to take that corner as tight as he was going to because he wasn't going to have a move.
Yeah, I think it's just so tough when you're fighting wheel to wheel in those kind of situations, right? Because you want to extract every little bit of pace, and I think he just didn't expect to have that much kind of traction in his car to get the car moved to the right as fast as he did. And then once he hit that curb, it was over because he had to slow down, and there's no way in the world you can request for Mod to slow down that quickly in that kind of corner where everyone's going to be gassing it all the way through. It was submitted to the stewards, and it was found as an NFA. But yeah, which I guess unfortunate, but the byproduct of this, you'll see, it basically sealed it for Twan. He ended up getting a podium in his place, so it took away a potential Haas 3-4 for Haas and just made it a 3. So still wild, but
The only good Haas driver so far this season, or having a good start to their season, has been Twan this year.
yeah, Haas has been struggling, and we're gonna get into that later. But we have not had a great first 2 weeks, boys. It's been horrendous. How you doing, Giants fan? What's up, man? So yeah, and I think that's all I have for the tier 3 clips. I will double check to make sure. Yeah, it is. So now we're going to tier 2, and we have a couple of fine clips. So this first one is at the Qatar race, and this is also a DNF situation. I think this one is very similar to the tier 2. The tier 4 one. Where Tolby was like, he pretty much crashed out immediately. It's very similar to that. I will pull that up right now. Let's go here. All right, so let's look at this one. This is MB Jacobson's onboard.
No, God. I remember watching this too.
Like, absolutely nothing you can do. Like, I'm gonna slow it down here just so you guys can understand like how quickly the C's closed. Like, Jacobson picks out like the best spot that you can basically ask for here. So like, they're coming into turn 1. There's that pocket of space right here, right? You're looking in this section, that little spot between JJO and Landsharky. You're gonna fit right in between there. Obviously, you do have what is that, Big Mama Frank to his right, but he's gonna take a more narrow line. You'd expect him to. So he goes in here. At this point, what can you do, right? You're just hoping for the very best and hoping that this Williams car does not come swinging back onto the road.
God, see it already. It's 200 yards up the road.
And that's exactly what happens here. Simon Colston right here. This is where the life flashes before your eyes. This is where you have your epiphany moments. Everything. The Vietnam flashbacks.
Action on the brake. I'm not gonna lie.
It is just a complete boom. And by the time you realize it, it's too late. Because at this point, this is where you basically try and slam the brakes. And this is exactly where Jacobson starts braking. So, like...
I think if you slow it down, too, it looks like he loses his wing on Simon, but doesn't DNF. He gets DNF by someone hitting him on the right.
I think he does, yeah.
Yeah, Kapachi hits him.
If we come in here that way, and then hits a wing, boom, and then there's Capaci that shears off that front right.
Oh,
Yep.
just shreds it.
Alpine again. Alpine again.
It's always the Alpine cars, man.
It's probably all the problems.
So yeah, that was Jacobson's first action of the season because he sat out the first Tier 1 race. So all in all, through the first 2 weeks, Jacobson had a total of 10 seconds of track time in the race. So,
And he's just because he's on vacation again, I think. So for the first 3 weeks, he's going to be.
yeah, he's not even here this week.
And that is it.
Yeah, the one bad byproduct of having Haas be a team of a bunch of old guys. All these old guys are taking vacations, man. So we're just like, we just show up for like, we've only showed up to like half our races so far.
I'm leaving tomorrow, so.
This is case in point. Anyways, so we'll go back to the next clip here. I have Ketchin. So Ketchin, a little bit of backstory on him. He is a very quick no assist driver. I think he uses line for Tier 2, but no assists. He is rapid, and he recently did get a full-time seat for no assist, so he's gonna be fireworks for that tier later. So this one is at the Silverstone race. I have it labeled as Ketchin getting a switchback of dreams in the rain at Silverstone, and just by hearing that title, you can already expect something amazing. Ooh, I got the wrong clip here. Hold on a sec. Give me like 1 minute, guys. I got the
It's
wrong.
not just from title.
I should probably get the clip here. Hold on a minute. I did. 1 sec. Got to shut these cameras off for a moment, just so nothing, so you guys don't see everything. 1 sec, guys. I copied the wrong clip. I gotta find it. Shoot. There it
You
is.
see what goes on in the background, everyone. Sorry.
I've got the clip here. All right, camera's back on. Back here. Max. All right, here we go. I got the clip now. We'll play it. Sorry, a little bit of delay. Technical difficulties. We're back though. Here's Ketchin's spicy switchback in Silverstone. We'll call it that. And look at how chilled out Ketchin is. He has music playing in his stream. Like, let me put the speed back up. Here we go. So he's fighting against, what is this, Prit King and Fake Man. And this is another cop's overtake. Much like Terp Charles. And if that straight's a little bit longer, he's getting Fake Man too, which is wild. Which is, so yeah, very.
Rain.
And it's these changeable conditions too that are going to be something to look out for, right? Because no one's going to know where the grip is at all when it starts raining like this. And Ketchin did an amazing job reserving in this
a little
tier.
bit of contact, yeah, and but nothing crazy. They both were able to keep it on.
Yeah.
Interesting time in the race that with the obviously with Fake Mano on the inters,
Yeah,
mediums of Ketchin, so the crossovers there or thereabouts, and he's just probably not got quite enough grip to get him before Maggots and Beckett's.
Yeah.
Only thing I wish EA would do is let the commentators see the weather, because Andy and I have no idea if that rain is coming.
That's an EA thing. Like, I really wish they did show the weather. Like, it's so upsetting that we don't get to know the weather. I'm out here in like chats asking, "Hey, anyone know the weather?" We get to find it out from everybody else's
Normally
racing.
Iron Boogs comes through with the weather report. He's our weatherman on track.
Yeah, but sometimes he doesn't. So our last clip with tier 2, I have labeled as "Through Goes Speedy." Wow. I think this was late in the tier 2 race. A lot of carnage in this one, I believe. If this is the clip I think I saw. I'm just gonna play it here, let you guys react to it. Yeah, this one does not have audio, I think. It's just a pure video clip. The definition of
Oh my lord!
the definition of threading the needle. keep
I'm
in
up in the
mind.
points position.
Look at where this guy is when this exchange begins. He's in 15th, and then look where he ends up at the end.
I want to know if that's another Alpine facing the wrong way.
Yes, it is.
Jesus.
So in the span
At least
of not even two, a span of one corner, he goes from 15th all the way to 9th. And he only really had that one pure on-track overtake.
We were talking about him in the stream because he was one of the few guys that didn't have any time penalties that race. So we knew he was going to find himself even further up.
Yeah, and I believe he did get a good result by the end of it. I didn't finish watching the whole race, but I believe he did by the end of it.
He was P5 or P6, I believe.
Yeah.
If I remember.
So I think that might be it for tier 2 clips. Yes, okay. So tier 1, I want to give this entire segment to a new rookie. If you guys know him, Magical Forehead, he had an amazing first 2 races for his tier 1 experience. I believe he's on a run of P2 and P1, so I think he is a championship leader, if I'm not mistaken. Depending on, I don't know if there are any incidents that involved him, but I think he is a championship leader. So I'll get that clip up. This one's called Magical Forehead Almost Dies at the End of Silverstone. that's what I've called this one. I'm going to play it here. Let me get the whole thing. Yep. It's a little quiet. I don't think it's got a lot of volume. Look at that.
Well, I don't know how you can stay. I don't know how you can stay going that fast through that. It makes my heart panic.
Yeah, and this was right after. Look at that, 3 cars and just enough space for one. Like any different of a line, he's taking himself out and probably the car behind them, because Nathan's right there.
I managed to miss it the first time you played it. I've just seen that again. That is.
Yeah.
I don't know whether he's just.
That car on the inside, he goes sideways, and all 4 of those cars are probably out of the race, and whoever's behind him.
The finest of margins, and then he ends up going from 6th to 2nd. It was P1
Crazy.
when the race ended, but I think Medico got a 5-second penalty removed, so he won that race.
Right.
But then that's a big swing. He goes from 8 points to 18 points in the span of one corner. That's like outhouse to penthouse, right? into second place, which is very impressive to say the least. He's had a fantastic start to his tier 1 life, and we're going to show another clip of his. This one is what I think the move of the entire Qatar race. You probably saw this one live, Midnight Killer. I think you did. You were commentating that one.
Oh yeah.
This was his move, a double overtake for the win. On lap 20. I'm going to let the clip speak for itself.
Magical Forehead going up on the inside of the race. Magical Forehead's going to go up into the lead of this race for a few seconds. He rides that as close as he could. Giants fan getting overtaken by 2 drivers.
That's Magical Forehead doing an overtake on Drix and Giants fan.
Yeah.
Into turn 1. On
Keep him-
lap 20.
Keep in mind, those are the previous 4 tier 1 champions he just overtook.
Yeah.
The amount of skill it takes to do that, and guile to try it in that moment, wild.
Hard up the inside too.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Magical Forehead during the 2 rookie races that he did on the Thursday night. He won both of them,
Yeah,
and he was just
sensational.
pretty damn good.
To say the least, sensational.
pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think he wins. Honestly, though, I don't think he wins Qatar without Andy and the Ferrari who given him DRS with like two laps to go, just before Andy retired. So Magical Forehead got a huge push from that. But Giants fan, I think he was on a tear, and he got in the DRS on the last 2 laps. So
Wow.
Yep. And then we're gonna end the clip section of the show with a no assist clip, my favorite tier, and not because I run it or anything, but my
Marginal
personal
bias.
my personal favorite tier. I'm going to pull that up here. This is a battle between me and 2 Red Bulls, one of them being Midnight Killer, who was on the panel here. I'm just going to let the clip run itself. So you have Benzo on the main straight who had an issue, and none of us realized that in the moment. And we're all in a party chat. This is like the most wholesome tier possible you can possibly see.
Yeah.
You got dudes laughing while this is all going on. You could just see how gingerly I am on the throttle and the braking because my tires were shot at this point of the race, and like with no assist here, like it's so unheralded. Like it doesn't get the praise it gets because a lot of the guys here, like, they take the utmost caution, and when you really dissect it, the racing here is just so clean. It is crazy.
I did the first race at Silverstone, and I was lost for the majority of it, but it was fun. I mean, it's rewarding when you finish. I feel like when you finish a race with completely nothing on, like just nothing. You're just driving a car around the track.
Yeah, like I can speak from experience as a tier 1 driver, right? The overtakes and no assists feel so much more satisfying when you get them done. Like tier 1 doesn't feel like fun. It feels like a chore, honestly. When I do tier 1 sometimes, but with no assists, it's just a bunch of dudes having a great time switchbacking each other for the life of them. It's great.
I've done one no assist race at the back end of season 7.
I forgot about
Needless
that.
to
You
say,
did.
I only did it because I was still awake.
Got it back. That's all I cared about. I was just driving around by myself for about 20 laps.
All right. So that's done. That's it for the clips portion. Now we're gonna go into basically a standings review. So over the first 2 weeks, we have a good chunk of results to look at. So we're gonna jump into it on a PowerPoint slide, nonetheless, guys. So here we go. We are very high production quality, as you can tell here. Punju doesn't do one media show, and this is what happens. You guys get PowerPoints. So yeah. So don't mind the cross-off section. We're going to go into that later. But we're going to look at standings right now. So this is the Tier 6 driver stand. I need to move our camera so everyone can see. This is the Tier 6 standings. So the biggest takeaway for me in Tier 6, honestly, is the emergence of... I'm in the wrong tier. Hold on a minute. I think I went too far.
It's Tier 5, right?
Yeah, Tier 6. Now we're in Tier 6. I was doing stuff. I accidentally scrolled too far. I'm moving all your cameras at the same time while doing this. That's why. I want you guys to, like, block all the information. So, yeah, Tier 6 driver standings. And for me, the biggest takeaway that I've seen so far is the emergence of Jay Lowry. Like, he won the feat, dominated the first race. He was like 6.7 seconds clear by the end of it. And then in the second race here, he got a P2. So already he's sitting on 43 points after just 2 races. And he's the only repeat podium out of the first group here. Because what we have here is the standings after the first race. And then the results from the second race, since we don't have finalized standings yet. And yeah, any little like nuggets of information that you guys can catch from these that I am not catching. I'm believing Jay Lowry is like the most interesting case of this tier so far.
To me, I mean, I feel like in Tier 6, the biggest thing is no track limits penalties and just finish the race. If you do both those things, you're pretty much guaranteed inside the top 6 every single week, I would say.
Yeah.
Stick it out. You never know what's going to happen.
And then add in just consistency, add in teamwork. Teamwork is huge in Tier 6. Like, the littlest of defending can go a long way in that tier. Because everyone gets held up. Like, the overtaking isn't the greatest because it's in development tier, obviously. And then, constructors-wise, it just echoes the sentiments earlier. Alpine, currently leading for me. I think they're doing the best so far. You can tack on an extra 18 there because Lowry got a second podium. I think they are leading the championship by the time it's all said and done. So, teams in the mud, though, I believe it is just Haas in the mud. Haas, maybe Red Bull. I think Red Bull didn't do very well last race either. Yeah, they got an 8th from NKW. They're not doing very great in Tier 6. I think them and Haas are on the struggle bus, although I believe Michigan Fan did get on the podium last race. I went too far.
That Tier 5?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I think Michigan Fan did have a podium last race because we started off pretty good. last week.
Yeah. Michigan fan got a podium.
Dido.
Oh yeah, I was reading
six.
I was reading tier 6. Excuse me, unnecessary Colby
Dido's
slander.
my-
Dido had a hell of a race last race. Yeah,
Yeah, Dido's my my dark horse for tier 6. I like Dido. I think he's got a real good, consistent pace around him. He struggled, I think, for a couple of seasons on the last game, but I remember him being damn quick on F121, and this game feels like F121 to me.
yeah, and it's an experienced pair of hands at the end of the day too. He's been around for a while. He's done lots of league racing. I'm looking at Matt as well. He was one of my favorites coming into the season. Hokage Rolly, once he gets going, I think he'll do good too.
I think Hokage has the speed. He just needs to,
Reel it in with the consistency.
With the consistency, that's another big thing in tier 6.
Yeah, so that's tier 6, and now we'll go into tier 5. So here is the driver standings. Let's not go to tier 5, says Jim. So yeah, biggest talking point aside from Midnight winning the first race, he didn't have as good of a second race, but he has won one race, and D-Master OG for McLaren won the second race by
about
quite a large margin. So
Did D-Master race in the first race?
No.
no.
He did not.
So when I crossed the line eventually at Qatar, and when I'd seen the gap at the top, I was like, now either one of several things has happened. Either this kid has just been grinding Qatar for the whole week and done about 1,000 laps and knows it inside out, upside down, back to front and diagonally, or every single other driver has been involved in some kind of incident, because that's a 26-second gap.
Yeah.
With no safety car.
Yeah.
Because it's tier 5.
And it was such a good race.
I believe Lollipops was close. I don't think he was right behind him, but I think he was within like 5 or 6 seconds, and then he spun twice. So
Yeah.
was into that.
Again, just all about, and also something to measure. Qatar is a race where fuel saving is very important. I think some people might have expected a safety car, you included, Jim, and it just never showed up. So that could be a very real possibility. Maybe they all underfueled. We don't know of too.
Yep.
I ran out of fuel. Jim, you were out of fuel?
I ran out of fuel. There was Pogs. Pretty sure Pogs ran out of fuel as well.
I ran out of fuel.
Deathman almost ran out of fuel, and I know he was saving for a few laps because he was in the paddock with me and Pogs. So there was at least 5 people that were very close.
That could have been a big factor, yeah. Because if you look at the fastest laps, it's not that crazy of a gap between him and the rest. So I think it was just strategy, fuel, things like that, being smart while you're doing there in the race. But
Right.
good result for D-Master, it has to be said. I do think he is up there with the other guys to watch, like Midnight. Who else? Toast up there, 2nd and 4th. Pretty consistent so far.
Edge
Edge
Sniper
2,
with
2 P3s, exactly. So 2 podiums. So this is going to be, I think tier 5 could be one of the tightest championships you see this season. A lot of really good drivers here. And then same thing constructors-wise here. So at the moment, I believe Aston Martin is leading the constructors, if I'm not mistaken. No, this is the first, after week 1
McLaren is
standings.
now.
McLaren
Yeah,
might be
yeah.
leading now. So yeah, some of them are going forward. Way too early for constructors. I just have it here for an update for you guys. We go to tier 4 drivers now. Tier 4, I admittedly haven't watched a ton of, because every time tier 4 starts, I'm prepping for tier 3's commentary. So if you guys did watch more tier 4, you would understand what's going on here. But notable wins: Ice Cream Sandwich, looking like the rookie of the year so far. First and second.
Look at me, P5 in the standings. In tier 4.
As a reserve. So, yeah, I think Ice Cream Sandwich, one of the unheralded rookies, I think we're going to know him very often, and he'll be a mainstay on these podiums. And so far, he's looking like a very good favorite to win this tier.
He's quick and he's clean. Didn't have any penalties in that first race at Silverstone, so I think he's
Yeah, and it's
he's
just
definitely one to look out for in tier 4.
And it's just wild looking at this, right? Because on draft night, everyone, when Ducati gets picked, they're like, damn, he's going to run this tier. He's going to run this tier. Far from it.
Yep.
No points through the first 2 races for Ducati. Granted, he missed the second race. But he's got a lot of catching up to do. He also has 2 penalty points hanging on his head.
Yep. That's the same. I mean, I know people were saying that, not a ton, but me as well, because I wasn't expecting to drop down to tier 5 after finishing P4 in tier 4 last year.
Neither did I. I didn't expect you there either. You saw my reactions on draft night. It just goes to show how stacked MRL has gotten the last 2 seasons. It's crazy.
We have grown significantly over the last 2 years, for sure.
Yep, and then these are the standings after race 1. I still think Williams is top. I believe they are still on top after the P2 from Ice Cream Sandwich here. That was enough to carry him all the way, but Mercedes is starting to crawl there. Mercedes will be right up there with them coming into the season. And, yeah, I think Haas did okay that first week, but I think they dropped down after the second week, and then McLaren, a big riser after... no, not a big riser. Alpha Tauri.
They got 1 point.
Got a 5 and an 8. That's pretty good. That'll get good points for them, so they should be somewhere in the mix there. And then Red Bull still somewhat okay. They didn't get any points this week, but this 18 should be enough to keep them in the mix. So yeah, that's tier 4 constructors in a nutshell. Go to tier 3 for the driver standings. And I was very happy watching this live the first race when I saw City of R cross that line in first. Fun fact, he's been with MRL for 4 seasons. And that was his very first win in MRL.
Yep.
A long time coming for City of R. And he didn't race last week, so he's behind in the championship standings to Tuan right now because he got 2 podiums. And Gwenfro, depending on... Yeah. There was also an incident submitted with Gwenfro, so we'll see where he ends up. But as of now, Gwenfro is provisionally the lead of the championship. Yeah. And also Gwenfro getting a fun fact in the chat. He had the worst odds in Tier 3 before Silverstone. Yeah. Something Mod and I prioritized was that guys that got promoted, we didn't give them the best of odds because on paper you would think they would have a hard time adapting to faster speeds. But Gwenfro's caught on like a house on fire, so he's did good.
Gwenfro's been promoted every season that he's ever raced, so...
Yeah, and he has something stupid like a 96% podium streak or some percent podium rate. It's wild. I don't know how he does it, but every race he's getting podiums.
Every race that he finishes, he gets a podium. If he doesn't finish, he DNFs. That's it. And he's just not on the podium. That's it. Other than that, he's always there.
Yep.
I'd like to see my podium. I'd like to see my podium ratio. A lot lower than 96%, I'm sure.
I don't know. I've probably had 100 races in MRL. I think I finished on the podium like 6 times. So.
Yeah, some people don't have it as good as them. I'll say that.
No.
And then constructors-wise...
You mentioned it took him 4 seasons to get his first win, City of R.
Yeah, long time coming, because he's always been in...
Midnight's won a race. I assume that you've won a race, Yellow. Jim, have you won a race?
I won a Tier 1 race in Season 3. So, once upon a time, I was fast. I'm no longer fast. But
yeah.
I believe I'm in my 4th or 5th season, and I'm yet to win a race. So I'm the only person on the panel without a win.
Yeah, I've won 6 races. 4 of them were Monaco. So... I am a track specialist, to say the least.
I love that. That's amazing.
What you need to do is you need to find a track that you really like, and just that's the only one you practice all the time.
Exactly.
And that's the one.
So anyways, Tier 3 constructors, I believe, actually, yeah, it's a 2-way fight for the lead right now with McLaren and Red Bull, depending on what happens in the Gwenfro incident that was submitted to the stewards this week. There could either be a Red Bull lead or there'll be joint tied. So the one tier that Haas is actually doing stuff in, Tier 3.
That's something. That's crazy.
Yeah, so they're not tripping over themselves. Alpine has got to get their work. They have their work cut out for them. Gibbsy and Sacco have had a tough first 2 races. A lot of bad luck involved for those two, honestly. Just midfield crashes are insane when you have really close cars. Same thing with Tier 3. So Tier 2, going into Tier 2, we have a A good performance from Kermit to open the season. He was the number 1 overall pick of MRL, so he had high expectations coming into the first race. He delivered for J-Joe. But I think the biggest surprise I've seen is Big Mama Frank. I did not think he'd be this good in Tier 2.
We have Big Mama Frank has the biggest crowd following.
He does. He has like a cult following.
In the chat every week that Andy and I commentate.
Yeah, he has like a posse with him that just shows that just rides or dies. It's great. And then another unheralded guy we haven't talked about too much on pace wise. Simon Colston's been pretty good, which is I believe his actual name was Swap Monster, but his racing name is Simon Colston. He's been a revelation in that Williams car. He did have some bad luck in the Qatar race, but on paper, he could be really good with the speed. He's up there for sure.
He definitely has the speed.
Yeah, and people that do need to pick up the slack, guys like Gary 5000. He had big aspirations, and his first races have not gone to plan. He was a Tier 1 driver last season, so he'll have to get to grips with the Tier 2 is driving, and I think he will eventually. Drew Lassard did win the second race. This is the second race here at Qatar. Another guy that came back after a mid-season ban a couple seasons ago for the first set of team principals. He left mid-season, but he's back and committed for Alfa Romeo this time, and he had a good race too. Started pole, finished first, wire-to-wire win. So
yeah,
well done to him.
He pretty dominated that race. I mean, if it weren't for the relatively late safety car, he would have won by 10 or 12 seconds easily.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah,
completely and utterly dominated it. I think Jim, me and you are a tad biased on this one, but I think this tier has got some of the most competitive action in it, week in, week out. You look at people like J-Joe, who couldn't catch a break on the Sunday, but was getting pole 4 times out of 5 last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think this season.
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel like from every single week that we have, there are battles throughout the field, not just, for the lead or, podium places like 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. There's battles for all of those places every single week in Tier 2.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it has to do with the byproduct of just being not at that cutoff for Tier 1, right? You're still insanely fast, but just the finer details haven't been refined yet, and that's what makes this tier so close and so competitive, because you have guys that are really quick, make a little bit of mistakes, and then guys that are a little bit slower but more consistent, they're in that mix as well. So, yeah, you do have that good spread here. And I do think we have a question from Stig saying we don't have a standing sheet for after round 2. Not yet. They got released after the steward decisions come tomorrow. So MRK, he'll hook you up eventually. He does our standings.
Yeah, well, Stig's another guy actually that. Look at the standings from week 1 and week 2. Stig's another guy,
Yeah, much like Gary.
I really like. There's 5 or 6 drivers I really like in this tier. I think this tier would go down to the wire. I guess Drew Lassard, his performance last week. If he can do that on every single track, but it'd be nice not to have a runaway winner in Tier 2 for once.
Yeah. And he's had runaway winners the last 2 seasons, so I think we're looking for a title battle this year.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I do think it will be one of the closer grids. This and Tier 5, they're going to be up there for the closest grids. And then constructors-wise, this is after round 1. Take with a grain of salt. Aston Martin had a great start. I think they did peel back just a little bit, although J-Joe did get a P4. I think the teams that made the biggest jumps after round 1, Red Bull with Fat Weeds P2, big jump there. P2. And then Alfa Romeo getting off the blocks with 25 points from Drew Lassard. So biggest struggle bus, guys, I probably would say, unfortunately, it's Haas, Jim. We have recurring theme. Yeah, I feel like we're going to be saying it a lot. I will say we're not winning a lot, but we're having a ton of fun at Haas. It's a very, very big group of guys that we love to drive with.
That is an absolute blast every day. Not even every week. It's every day we have just talking in there. So
Yeah. So we have tier 1 now. So this is prime time, everybody. We have gotten to that point. So the biggest talking point is the resurrection of Minako. So
Yes.
after last season, all of last season, he got one measly point, and that was due to a lot of bad luck, and some of it was self-inflicted. I do have to admit, just because he's my color commentator doesn't mean I can't criticize him a little bit. He made a lot of mistakes last season, but this season he's made a concerted effort to drive cleaner and to avoid all carnage, and he's done very well. He got a very impressive win at Silverstone. I think he led wire to wire in that one, got fastest lap as well. No, he didn't. Magical 4, I got fastest lap, I think, in that race. No, someone did. I didn't see. All right, Santiago did, but we'll talk about him later.
Whatever.
So yeah, very good result for Minako there. And then obviously we talked about Magical 4 earlier in the clip section. P2 and a P1. So I think he is effectively leading the championship now that Minako got a P3 in the next race. But I'm thinking early doors. Guys that need to get it together. If we're to pinpoint anybody, it's me. I haven't gotten a single point first 2 races. Admittedly, I did try something very exotic in the second race, and it didn't work out. I tried running extremely low downforce, and it didn't work out for me at Qatar. I was just floundering at the back the whole race. Also, noticeably, Zylo only has 2 points through the first 2 races, too, and he was inches away from the Tier 1 title last season.
I don't think he raced. He didn't race at Qatar, correct?
No, I don't think he raced at Qatar.
No, but still, yeah. Like you said, I mean, that battle for Tier 1 championship last season went to, 5 laps left in the very last race between him and Giant Fan. So.
And this one could also look like it's going down to the wire. Granted, we're only 2 races in, but there are lots of guys that are quick here. Don't Blink's been a revelation too. We haven't talked about him yet. He's been very, very good. 4th and 6th, he's up there in the mix. And this is tight, and Drix isn't even in that conversation we've talked about yet. And once he gets going, jeez, it's gonna be fireworks. You're gonna enjoy that, guys.
He got taken out. He got taken out by Santiago Robles at Silverstone. So he would have had a top 5 finish.
Yeah, he was running for a podium
actually,
there.
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a lot of similarity between the top 10 at Silverstone on the left and the top 10 at Qatar on the right. There are very, very similar.
Tier 1, I will admit,
kicking around there.
it's very top heavy. I will say Tier 1 is very top heavy. You can make a case for at least 5 out of the 10 guys in the back to be in Tier 2. You can interchange them with some guys that are currently in Tier 2, and the pace difference would not be that much. It is tough sledding for the guys in the back 10, and the guys in the top 10 have been thriving. So, yeah.
But it's early days.
Early doors. 2 very tricky tracks as well. So Britain and Qatar are not the easiest tracks. So take it with a grain of salt. It's why we have 4 of these media shows this season. So
Yep.
We'll be back in the next 2 weeks.
We'll keep you informed.
Yeah, Tier 1 constructors. This is after race 1 again. So Aston Martin had the edge. I think they do still have the edge. No, I'm not sure. I think AlphaTauri might have gotten a jump on them because it's basically you could basically just replace this with Minako and Magical 4. They've been carrying for Tier 1 so far.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then dropping off a bit, the Red Bulls aren't in second anymore. Alfa Romeos, Don't Blink is going to be there all season, I think. He'll be getting them good points. Williams, I think they are in P3 now, actually, because there was an appeal with their penalty from the first week. It just came through 2 days ago, crazy enough. So they had a time penalty removed, and then they ended up getting more points. So they are P3 in constructors after the big results in this last race from AAS Giants Fan. And noted, Giants Fan and AAS, they could be a power duo once they get going. AAS is rapid.
He is quick. He is very quick. We saw him in the rookie races that Andy and I did, and they are. I mean, his pace is
incredible,
unbelievable,
to say the least. And we're going to be saying that a lot about the top 10 as we go through the season. So, Midnight Killer, you enjoyed as a color commentator there for sure.
Oh yeah. Is it double AS or I mean I say Doblas.
Doblas.
No. I just read it off as double AS. Who knows? Could be something else.
I was like, wait, who is this? I was like, I commentate. I was like, I don't know. Who
What's
Just
it-
like you and the
what's it
Ashton
about-
Martins, man.
okay, all right.
Anyways, yeah, constructors wise, we already went over that, so we'll go into the no assist here. So this one, I will admit, has the biggest gap between the drivers, between the grid. You have about 3 or 4 guys that realistically could compete for a title, and the rest are there for vibes. But early doors, last season's champion Nathan, back-to-back winners. I believe the only back-to-back winner in all of MRL this season, at any tier, and he's done very well. Albeit Giants fan is also up there giving him a fight. He did DNF the first race, but it was very close between him and Giants fan at the end of the race there. That 8.4 second gap is deceiving for the second race because I think Giants fan had to run out of gas too. So it was good. Also, something to note, it says Ketchen is a reserve, but he is now full-time. He did take a seat from Wiffles, who had to step back for a bit. He had some things going on in his life, so he couldn't race in an A-tier as much as he liked. So Ketchen is now full-time, and he will be ones to watch, because if you look at his results, 2nd and 3rd.
Yep, he is. I mean, I only raced the Silverstone, but him, Nathan, and Andy are in their own class, and then pretty much everyone else, and then me and the guys that don't race no assists
Yeah.
pretty much ever.
And you can tell Andy put in a lot of work on no assist, because he's driving no assist full-time for Tier 1 too, and he's not even a slow guy there either. He's pretty good there on his day. So yeah, 3rd and 4th for him. So you're going to be looking at those 4 guys the whole season. Nathan, Ketchen, Giants fan, and Andy. So that's the 4 you're going to be looking for. What's up?
How did Chili Willy DNF and finish 5th?
That is a glitch. It was a visual glitch. He crossed the line in 5th, but the game recognized that he DNF'd for some reason, and they put him in 11th. But this is proper. He is 5th. It was very weird. He I think he finished like maybe 5-6 seconds behind Andy. Like, it wasn't that far off. But I don't know. There was like EA is going to EA, and that's what happens. But look at the gap from first place to the last points finisher, Hokage Roldy. A minute 19. So it's not the tightest grid. But just because it's not tight does not mean that there isn't action. Like, there's still really good action depending on where you're at. And Midnight Killer knows it. I know it. It's really, really fun to drive in that tier. And then constructors-wise, Ferrari is still leading because, Nathan's got 2 wins in his bag. He's got 50 points here. 51, actually. He got fastest lap. So it will be a battle between them and AlphaTauri, it looks like. If Balaam can be a good supporting teammate to... who else? Sorry, actually, that's a mistake because Ketchum was a reserve for AlphaTauri at all those points. He's on Williams now, so we're going to be looking at Williams down the rest of the stretch, too. They're in 9th right now, but that's deceiving. They will be much higher. So yeah, that is it for the standings overview. Any other nuggets you guys found that I have missed from no assists? I think we're good, right? So now we're going to go into my favorite segment, the last segment of the night. I'm going to call it the cross-offs. So for those that don't know, we have 4 of these media shows throughout the rest of the season. So here we're in week 2. Then we're going to have one in week 4, week 6, and week 8. So now that we have some information in our bag, what we're going to do is we're going to slander some people, to put it lightly. So we're going to pick 4 drivers from each tier and 2 constructors from each tier, and we're going to declare them as out of the running, quote unquote. Technically, yes, they're not out of the running, obviously. It's only race 2, but we think that with your terrible results and what you've done so far, you have no chance of coming back into this championship. So we're going to do that real quick. This will have to do in this basic view here. So I'll bring our cameras back. We can actually put our cameras up here now. So give me a second. Yep. Production quality off the charts, guys. All right.
Look at all these perfect replacements. A+.
So what we're going to do, we're going to go one by one. We're each going to give a nomination of one driver that you will have as your cross off, and you're gonna give the case as to why they should be crossed off now of the championship. So I'm gonna start us off in tier 6, and the first person I'm gonna put up there, I'm sorry to do it to you, but Sulay, you are not in the running for this drivers' championship. I think his pace just hasn't been the best. Obviously, he's still new. He is developing. And I do think that in future seasons he could be on it, but off the blocks, it doesn't look too good from him. What do you guys think of that one?
I don't know a whole lot about tier 6, but I do know that he has been in the back the last couple of weeks. So.
Yep. All right, so I'll kick it over to you, Midnight Killer. Who do you think should get the axe from the tier 6 drivers championship?
Oh man, this is getting difficult because I see a few names that are familiar, and I'm like, well, that's just a poor showing from them. Like Matt in Qatar, like he's gonna have those races, but as you see, he placed second in Silverstone. But if I had to pick one, I'm gonna have to go with one of these names I'm not too familiar with. And honestly, I'm gonna have to go with D-Gens.
Yep.
Yeah, he's at the very bottom. I haven't seen much out of him. And Alpine in general, across all the tiers, they've just made a name for themselves, let's just say.
And I don't hate that pick because he has gotten himself into the stewards room a little bit too in this last week. He did have a bit of a kerfuffle, which still has not been sorted out, but he has not been the cleanest driver on track. So yeah, I think D-Gens is a decent pick there to be out of the running. So next we'll have Andy give his pick. Don't know how much of tier 6 you've watched,
I was
man.
gonna go D-Gens.
Haha.
For very similar reasons. Number one, I don't know too much about him. A little bit of trouble with the stewards. Down at the bottom of the standings after one race, and DNF'd in race 2. So I'm gonna mix it up a tiny little bit here, and I'm gonna be marginally controversial. I'm gonna pick Speedy Bullet.
Ooh.
Now, Speedy Bullet picked up points in the second race at Qatar. He's in the Red Bull, so I know Tolby will be cursing me as we speak, whether this is on replay or live. But I'm gonna pick Speedy Bullet because he's already got 6 penalty points to his name. So I know he ain't qualifying. As we move to Hungary this week. And Hungary being one of those twisty, turny, horrible little tracks, very easy to, when you're at the back, and perhaps you're a little bit quicker than some of the other drivers, to get yourself into a bit of bother trying to bully your way past, which means more penalty points, a DNF, and maybe a race ban.
Yeah, I think that's a decent case you put up for him, especially in tier 6. They can pile up really quickly, those penalty points. And if you can't race, you can't win. So I like that.
6 after one race.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then Jim, round us off here. You got the last one?
You guys took all the easy picks, I guess. Easy picks. But my pick, I'm leaning towards Andy's thought process. And I'm going to go with Monkey, and I'm not even going to attempt to say his second part of the name, but he had picked up 3 penalty points at Silverstone, and I saw him spin at least 4 or 5 times in the race at Qatar. So I just feel like that is
Monkey the Zoika. He has good pace. I do think he does have good pace. So admittedly, he can come back and win this, but I do think the racecraft just hasn't been there, and the awareness on track has been his biggest letdown so far. So yeah, I don't hate these picks, guys. I think this is a decent list to cross off. Obviously, as we come back in the next few weeks, it'll be more clear, and we'll have more additional cross-offs until we get to just 4 left going into the final 2 races. So,
for the record, by the way, I hope we're all wrong, and these guys fight back and have a great race next week.
Yeah, obviously you don't want it to be crossed off, but this is part of this is to light a fire underneath them too, because if they'll have that chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, with that we'll go into the constructors. So if you had to give me So we'll just do this one together because we're only doing 2 constructors, not 4, because there's only 10 of them.
Yeah.
So if I was to give a constructor nod, just looking at the drivers here, just off the back of what I'm seeing, I hate to say it, but McLaren's on that list for me. I'm thinking him early doors. I know Van Senden has experience, but I don't think he's got enough in his locker.
Van Senden is one of my great friends in real life, and he brought me to MRL.
He's a great dude.
I just don't think that he has the wherewithal to make up for what Monkey has shown thus far.
Yes.
This season.
So, are there any objections to McLaren, guys? I'm thinking we can put McLaren on this list. Very early, but I do think we can put McLaren on this list.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Punju says I object. He's not liking this in the chat. Don't worry. We're not gonna. You can't win every tier, bud. It's fine. You're doing better than Haas. You'll see you later.
I mean, I like the name. The name Hokage Roldi on Alfa Romeo, but they've both him and his teammate.
Yeah.
Souls just I feel like that might be the second team.
I don't know if I can agree with that one just yet. I think it's a little too early for Alfa Romeo to go number 2 on this list. It's tough to do this so early, right? Because you have to pick 2.
Yeah.
You have to
Maybe
pick 2.
Tari. I don't know.
They've got no points after 2 races, Alfa Romeo.
Yeah,
that is true.
Hokage, I mean, we know he has the pace. We've seen it before. You know.
But when's it gonna show? That's the question. Is he gonna stay out of trouble? And Tier 6, the start of Tier 6, the last race, oh my god, it was a mess. So, and I think he got caught up in that too.
Those 2 Ferraris, they should get demerits just for...
Yeah, in a bubble, I was looking at that. I was wondering what the heck was going on there. What in God's green earth happened there? But I do think that there was maybe a lobby thing. Because there's no reason to slow down 30 seconds on your Delta. I think there might have been a Delta issue there.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is really tough. I mean, Alfa Romeo, I know they have no... But
there's a lot of teams you just can't touch, right? You can't touch Alpine because of Lowry being so good. You can't touch Haas because Michigan Fan got a podium.
And you've got, like you said, Alpine, like, Jay Lowry is up in the podium every week, but his teammate...
As harsh as it is, I think we might have to do Alfa Romeo. I know that it sounds harsh, but we might have to back it at this point. There's, like, no other option. Like, you read Hokage Road, you're like, no way. But no, that makes sense now. With no points after 2 races, I'm jumping on the Alfa Romeo bandwagon here and saying that no.
Yeah, looking through it now, I mean...
You are not really going to win.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Now go to Tier 5. And this one is where it gets interesting because we have a lot of guys in the panel here from Tier 5. You guys know this tier like the back of your hands. I know it a good chunk too. I'm gonna go last here. I'm gonna have you guys sort it out. I'll have Jim go first this time because he went last in the letter one. So Jim, do the honors.
I'm gonna cross myself off.
There you go. I was waiting on that, Jim. Because if you didn't do it, I was gonna do it. Jim just raged. On that list you go, bud.
Pretty much the worst start to a season I've ever had in MRL. I've been here since season 2, so just gonna.
Yeah, I agree with that pick, especially because you're missing the 3rd race. So you are tapped to have no points through a third of the season almost. So, and I am upset. I am upset as a Jim just raged better.
I'll do my best, but I don't think so.
Yep. All right. Andy, who you got?
I don't really want to do it to the guy because he has been around for a few seasons, but and I'd like to see his racecraft improve a lot. But I'm going to go for Diego.
Diego Lego, interesting one. Okay.
I think he's got more pace this year in terms of being more matched.
Mm-hmm.
but with no points from 2 races, and just with that thing in the back of my head from season 6.
Yep. And I will say this to add on. Like, I was his TP last season. With the right coaching, he can make a really good impact, but he's the person where you're going to have to hold his hand and you're going to have to help him out. And if his TP is not extremely receptive to that, it might be a little bit of a struggle bus. But he when he is on it, he is on it. And I don't hate you for putting him down here because the consistency just isn't there. But,
No.
yeah. I don't hate that pick.
I mean, I looked at it, and I looked, and there was another driver that I saw, and I'm not going to influence anybody, but there's another driver I saw that's down in that neck of the woods. But my God, they've had shit luck, and they're rapid.
That is true.
And that was the difference between the two.
Yep. And so, yeah, the 2 on the board now. Midnight, make it 3.
For me, it's going to have to be Nikki G. And I think it's on the same kind of tone that Andy was mentioning. Nikki's been pretty fast these past couple seasons, and he's just been in the bottom half of the grid for whatever reason. He seems to be on the struggle bus, even in no assists. He was having a hard time. So, I mean, it's not like it's going to get easier at no assists, but I just think he's struggling a little bit more than expected early on. So, yeah.
I do know that he has had a lot of technical issues too. I think his wheels shut down on him a few times. So, yeah, once he gets stats worked out, I think we'll be good there. But I do think it might be too late. I do agree with that move, picking him here. And now I have to pick somebody, and this is going to be tough. Because, like you said earlier, the obvious picks are gone now. But I'm going to go ahead and put a no-show here. It's a new guy.
Easy.
It's a new guy. He's got to go here. Be Bruno. I'm sorry, man. He's only raced 1 race, and in that race, complete non-factor. I don't think he really influenced the race too much. I think it's just a case of trying to take as much as you can of experience-wise from this one and see if you can improve for next season. Maybe help out your teammate if the opportunity presents itself, you know? And he is your teammate, Midnight Killer, so... Might hurt.
Love some help from
it might hurt a bit seeing we put that there, but do you object to that one?
No, I think that's an easy go-to for you.
I heard from J. Joe earlier on. Is he still in the team? Is he still racing?
I don't think so. I mean, I've messaged him and I haven't heard back at all. So I don't. Think
okay. Well, it's even easier decision then.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
fair,
it.
I actually forgot he was Aston Martin. I saw New York fan.
Yeah.
I'm guessing he reserved last week.
Yeah, I think he reserved up from tier 6. So
correct.
Yeah. So constructors wise, this is actually kind of tough too. Because with tier 5 being as balanced as I think it's going to be tough to pinpoint 2 off the gates that are just going to be horrible. Let me see. So for what I'm looking here, teams that have not done well, Red Bull comes to mind, although MKW did get 4 points. Williams, they haven't done well. Haas, we have complete non-factor we've been.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if we can cross ourselves off as constructors straight away though. Drivers for sure. We're not winning the drivers, but I think the teammate pairing is strong enough that we could recover.
I think that Jacobson picked a very good tier 5 team. I just think we've both been horrendous the first 2 weeks. So
yeah. But if I had to pinpoint a team that will not survive this week's cross-offs at least, I'm gonna have to go with Williams. I just don't think that the pairing of Night Ninja and Zoso are ready for prime time. I don't think they're going to. When the lights come on, I think they fold a bit. They just don't have it in them. Qualifying is a different story than the race. Like, they have decent qualifyings.
As Zoso has pace around 1 lap, like you said, with qualifying. But I think when it comes to the race, racing against him the last 2 seasons, I haven't really had any battles with him necessarily, which means he's not around the top points positions every week. So
Yeah, and then I think the other argument for the second constructor is going to be between either Haas or Red Bull, right? I don't think there's any other obvious candidates at this point of the season. Geez, don't want to do it. Don't want to throw Haas in there.
I mean, I don't think we may not have a chance at winning, but I don't think we're gonna finish seventh or eighth.
Preseason tabs, we had them tabbed as the favorites preseason. I just think it's been a bad first two races. I do think it's possible to turn it around with the quality on that team. It's just a matter of finding that consistency, but I do think the potential is a lot higher with Haas than it is with Red Bull. Yeah, so I'm
do as well.
Yeah, I'm willing to throw Red Bull onto the block for this week.
I'm a part of that, so I'm not good.
If we come back here in week 4 and Haas is still floundering, we will more than happy to take him off the list. But
I crossed myself off at the beginning.
Right.
Exactly.
So I'm fine with crossing myself off.
Yeah, I'm cool with Red Bull coming off the board here in that list. So yeah, that's tier 5 constructors. And now we go to tier 4 drivers. And as we get quicker and quicker, these picks are going to be a lot more interesting to make because there's less obvious picks at the bottom. So to start us off, who hasn't picked first yet? Midnight, you haven't picked first yet, right? Same with Rage. Let's go Midnight. You give us the first pick here.
Okay. The person I'm going to be crossing off is actually a pretty strong driver. I just think tier 4 has been a little too much pace for them. He's probably not going to be too happy about this. But again, right, we're doing this to light some fires under some folks.
Exactly.
MRK. I'm going to have to cross MRK off the championship.
Ooh, and he's probably in chat here. He's not going to like that one. So what is the reasoning? You said he wasn't fast enough. Anything like specific, just the overall pace?
I just think I think there's a few folks here and just talking to him in DMs and knowing his confidence levels going into a few of these past 2 weeks. I think if he can overcome those fears, maybe he can take another step up. But if he's kind of settling in to middle of the pack driver, I think we can close the door. Unfortunately,
yeah, we still
I think he's better. I think he's better than what he thinks he is.
We still love you, MRK. You're a G.
Indeed, top G.
We talked all praise about you before the show. Trust me.
We did. Like 5-10 minutes. Just all right, Andy. We'll give you the second pick.
Now then. I am gonna say because of he's just finished in a top 5 position at Qatar.
I know who this is. You haven't even said it. I already know. I'm just gonna write him down right now. You tell me if it's correct. I wrote him down already. Just go.
But I'm telling you now, I don't think Zohan will win this championship.
I knew this was coming, and Midnight sounds disappointed.
And it's to do with racecraft. I know that Zohan's got pace. He's definitely got 1 lap pace. He can definitely stick it on pole, but by God, if he sticks it on pole, he'll have to stay out in front. Because if he doesn't and he has to get past people, I'm not entirely sure he can get past people without bullying them off track, causing DNFs for himself and for other people, which is going to rack up some penalty points. 3 already on the board.
Yep. And he could be on the repeat offenders list too. We got to factor that in too. The repeat offenders list. For those that don't know, if you get into 2 or more of the same kind of incident, you're put on the MRL repeat offenders list. So if you hit someone off track twice, bam, repeat offenders list. Every time you're going to do that same exact collision, another penalty point gets added on as the usual penalty. So if you're supposed to get 1 penalty point, you are now getting 2. And it multiplies the more you go.
Those also that don't know, I am in charge of the repeat offenders list. So there are currently only 2 people on it as of right now.
Yeah, don't go on Jim's shit list, guys. You don't want to be on that list.
Again, that's for a guy who's probably scored some. How many points has he scored? 5. So he scored 10 points in the championship. So he's not going to be a million miles behind. But it's everything else surrounding.
Yeah.
Right.
Everything else surrounding. The trash talking, the overconfident stroke arrogance. There's a fine balance for me between confidence and just being arrogant. And when you're arrogant, you have to go and try and prove it out on track. If you have to go and try and prove it out on track, you cause messes.
This is quite the vendetta you got against Zohan. I mean, I echo those. I can't lie. But I think it's just the issue of racecraft. If you can get the racecraft fixed, there's no reason he can't compete.
No, I mean he has the pace. We
Yeah.
all know that he has the pace. It's just making sure, like Andy said, if he's going to pass, I'm not sure that he's going to be able to pass people cleanly enough where he's not going to end up with a penalty at the end of the race.
And with those comments, Jim, take us away. Third pick.
First is probably going to yell at me for this, but they've always been, they sneak into the points every now and then, but I just don't see them as a championship contender. And it's going to have to be Kayla. And she's probably gonna. That was
my pick. You stole my pick, my guy. Oh man.
Race is great every week and is very clean, and she'll sneak into the bottom of the points every now and then. But
it's the kind of driver that you want to have as a team principal, right? Because they won't get into incidents. They won't make your life a living hell every midweek. You'll have. It's gonna and just
She's a great driver to have as a TP. Perfect.
Yeah.
Never any. Never any problems, never anything. And she always shows up every week, but I just don't think she has it for a championship this season.
Yeah. And by the way, Punju, thanks for re-upping MRL Pit Crew.
Yep.
Thanks for that membership. So now it's my turn, and I'm at a loss, guys. You guys got you got the obvious ones out the way. This is tough. I don't even know. Is NER Colin an actual full timer? You're an Aston guy. Is he a tier 4 guy or is he a tier 5 guy? Midnight.
No, Colin, that was he was a sub.
He's a reserve up. Okay, so I can't put him on this list. Shoot.
Dutchman, though.
Dutchman is. I'm thinking of Dutchman. I'm thinking of a very controversial one. I think it's a little too early for him. I'm not going to put him on this list. I'm gonna go ahead and just pick Dutchman. A little bit of a vanilla pick. I'm gonna put him there. I was considering, and he's gonna hate me for this, but I was considering Ducati. As wild as it is, I was considering him. I just don't think I said it in the preseason draft show. His overtaking ability is not good enough, but I'm gonna give him a pass because his pace is too good to throw away this early. So, yeah, Dutchman. I'm sorry, bud. You're a previous tier 4 drivers champ, but not this season, my guy. I don't see it for you.
The only other one I would have considered maybe hurts me because he's my teammate, but Benzo, because he missed the first race and had no points in the second. That would have been another maybe.
I considered Benzo, but the sample size is too small for me.
Yeah, exactly.
I need another race out of him. And Qatar is one of those tricky ones where anything can happen. Yeah. Literally anything can happen. Yeah. I've only seen him race at Qatar. So yeah, those are 4. So I'm going to write down the drivers, the teams assigned to them too. So this is MRKO Williams, Zohan, and Alpha Tauri. These are high picks too. We've put some high picks in the draft on this board. Zohan, I think he was drafted in the second round, right?
Already crossed myself off.
Yeah. Fnatic was a first round pick for McLaren as well, I believe. Second pick. Second pick. First pick was Shrimpies. We're almost done, Pogs. We're at the business end of things. We're having a fun time. But yeah, Dutchman was an Aston. So, yeah, this is my favorite part of the stream because I got the slander everybody. So
yeah, this is honestly, I've been looking forward to this bit.
Yeah, this has been the part that I really wanted to do.
Who's next?
Next up, we got constructors. So we got to get 2 constructors out of here, and I already have one in my mind. Let me know if you guys agree. I'm gonna go with picture here. The Astons.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Easy.
This I think is a unanimous decision here. The Astons have been completely non-existent in this tier so far.
You go back to the driver's standings for me a sec.
I can, yes. I do think that just hasn't been there, especially because they had a reserve come up. I don't think they're committed to winning this this championship.
It's looking rough.
Oh my god.
But hey, Aston, we knew this was a very top-heavy team. They have really good drivers, tiers 1 and 2 and 3, just not in tier 4.
Yep.
Yeah, no.
Cool.
That comes as as what the TP wants to draft, right?
Exactly.
You pick 1, 2, and 3, and you think they're going to be elite, then you just hope to maybe squeak some points out from the lower tiers.
Yeah. Yep. And then one more constructor. Anybody have any obvious ones they want to throw in here?
Bunju's still in chat, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think he
Yeah,
is.
let's throw him
Just checking. Just checking.
still there too, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, we did cross off Fnatic and Zoika, Ducati. Oh,
Clarence having a tough go in the bottom tiers here, huh? I mean, I can't really throw them.
I wouldn't throw them as constructors because
Ducati's still there.
Ducati's got too much sauce in his locker.
Yep. He can't. I can't. But I mean, even Alpine.
right.
JWebC he's still. I mean, they have no points. But
He's been a non-factor, yeah.
Right.
is still
Right.
a target. No, I mean, he's still a podium finisher. I feel like in this tier. So
And this is the number 2 overall pick we're talking about here. JWebC was taken 2nd overall by Semtex. I ripped him to shreds in that pick analysis. You guys remember me from draft night there. First two, I did not say it was a fantastic pick. I said it was very risky. And it is paying off for me to make that analysis, but not for Semtex right now. But I do think if we were to pick a constructor, sheesh, I have no clue anymore.
No, this is now it's tough.
yeah,
I can't lie. I'm leaning towards Haas. I can't lie.
I mean, I am too. I mean, they're my own team, but I just don't know that.
And the reason behind it is because there's none of those guys are top end pace, and top end pace is what's going to win you this constructors.
I think they can both battle for points every single week. Like Norm and Benzo can battle for points every week, but I don't think any of them have the pace to win a race in Tier 4.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement with Haas on that one. If we're going to pinpoint one, yeah, they do have it in their locker to come back and make a strike, but not for the win. They'll be up there, I think, but not for the win. All right,
I think that's going to be a recurring theme going forward.
Yep. As we start moving up these tiers, it's only going to get worse. Jim, I already know. All right, Tier 3, guys. Now, I know more about this tier than most. So I'm going to have... Who hasn't picked first? Midnight, you pick first yet?
Midnight has not.
Yes.
You did?
Oh, did
No,
you?
I think I went first last time. It'll be Jim or Andy this time.
Jim, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
First tier, my own team.
Actually, no,
I picked
Andy.
my-
I think Andy's first.
Is
Right. Andy hasn't picked first, right? I think it's Andy. Let's get Andy in.
Yeah, okay.
First pick of Tier 3, bud.
Oh, I see Zohan's name on there again. No, okay, so trying to pick out. There's quite a few reserve drivers here, isn't there? So just making sure I'm picking out people that are actually driving. I mean, the Alpines haven't had a great start, have they?
Yep.
I'm gonna go. Gonna hate me, fellow media team.
I think I know who you're doing it.
I'm gonna remove Gibbsy.
Gibbsy.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
You thought I was gonna go Sacco, didn't you?
No, I thought you were going Gibbsy. I did not think you were going Sacco just because he does have more on top end pace. I do believe that, but I don't hate it. I think it's a reasonable choice given how the first races have gone down for him.
And I'll be honest, I've not seen too much of the tier 3 racing.
Yeah, he's been
my-
like
my-
lower midfield, so pace wise hasn't been impressive, but a lot of time left.
Sorry, Gibbsy.
Yep, I think I'll go next. Sheesh. See, with tier 3, it's a little tougher, right? Because you had guys that had bad first races bounce back and have pretty good second races. But if I was to pick one, shoot, I'd probably go Echo. I don't think he's got it in his locker. His pace has not been extreme. It's when he has raced, it's been okay.
And let's be clear, Echo CFC, not Echo Alex.
I was gonna say.
Sorry, I meant to say. Excuse me, I forgot there were 2 Echoes. Excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I meant to say
Echo-
Echo CFC, the Alfa Romeo Echo.
Echo
You have.
Echo with an H, not a K.
Yeah. Echo with an H, not Echo with a K. That'd be I would be getting flamed right now if it was Echo Alex. Dude just won a race.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's won one and he was top 5 in the other one. Like,
This is
I meant to say Echo.
bold.
Echo CFC. Okay, so yeah, I think that makes sense for me. Midnight.
All right. Here, I wanted to lean towards another commentary guy, but I'm actually gonna go with the man who was on vacation last week, Mod. I just think I'm excited to see him in tier 3, but I think just having no points finishes in the first 2 races, I think that kind of
Damn, that's gonna light a fire under his belly. That's for sure. I did not see that coming because if you saw the clip earlier, Mod was inches away from a podium in the one race he was in. But I like the boldness. It's what gets the views. I like the boldness. I have to disagree. I think he's got in his locker to come back. Just has 0 points right now. Jim, I think you disagree too.
Yeah. I mean, Maud, he was definitely in podium position his first week, obviously on vacation, and I know he's been grinding pretty hard this season to keep his pace up. So,
prove me wrong, Mod.
he will.
Somebody clip that. We're gonna clip that. We're gonna clip that and pin it in the hash chat. Just for him to read it.
That'll get sent to
Yeah. Alrighty. And now, who hasn't picked? Jim, right?
It's me, and unfortunately, everyone's talked about him multiple times, but I think I have to let a fellow commentary person go here. I think I'm going to have to go with Sacco.
Dang, double Alpines.
Double Alpine.
Oh, lordy lord. I'm going to clip this one for him too.
Don't
Alpine.
Alpine in tier 3 for sure. I just don't think they have. Not that I don't think they can get into the points, but it's kind of the same situation that we had with Haas in the previous tier, where I just don't think either of them have the pace to win a race in tier 3. I think that's just kind of.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on the pace front, but I do think they've been really unlucky these first two races, and it's a long season. Yeah, I think this is going to be an easy one to whittle down as the weeks come along, too, because there are some obvious picks that I think are still up on this board you can get rid of, too. I'm thinking guys like in the future, like JBTC. He's been a non-factor. Wiffles is up in the air. I don't even know if he's still racing. That's a big question mark. I'm not sure about that one. And yeah, those 2 picks. Because I think the Mod one was a little bit out of left field. I did not expect that one the slightest.
That was the only one that.
And it's just a simple numbers game. Just a simple numbers game.
I don't blame you for doing it.
I would either Williams, but that's just me.
Yep. Let's do this. Instructors. I think it'd be hilarious to not cross off the Alpine, right?
Alpine.
Yeah. If we're... Can we be hypocritical if we just don't do Alpine? Is that it being a hypocrite? Because they're putting both drivers out?
we just do Williams and Mercedes or something. something else.
Something off the board? I don't know. We'll put Alpine up there for now. Honestly, screw it. I'll jump on that. Alpine. We're gonna write Payne there. Alpine.
I don't think they're bad drivers, obviously, but I just don't think they have to take the tier.
They've dug themselves into a hole with 0 points combined in the first 2 races. Like, no sugarcoating around it. Like, and
The
then
thing is, you don't need to win the driver's title, do you, to win a constructor's title?
exactly.
Yeah, I think Williams might be there next.
Yeah, I was leaning towards Williams. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I was kind of leaning.
Sheesh, I don't know about this one. If I had to pick a lean, I would do Williams, but KDM has so much more in him to give. Like,
and that's because KDM has the pace. I've seen it before, But I mean, the team that they're battling with is Mercedes, right? And I mean, they have Process, who has been the top of tier 2 for
yeah,
tier 3 now. Him and Papouts have been
another team I'm considering, slightly controversial. I'm considering Ferrari here. They did get some points, but I don't know. I think that might have been a fluke performance from Gaulis, but I don't think he's got the.
They do have Calm as well.
Yeah, they do have Calm, to be fair. So I think it's a little too early for Ferrari, but I'm thinking about Ferrari.
Yep.
This is tough.
This is.
Yeah, I think we just gotta do it. We gotta do. Actually, maybe AlphaTauri. No, they won the first race. I forgot City of R was a sub. Yeah, let's just do it. Let's just get rid of the Williams. It's tough, but I'm gonna do it. I think that process.
Let's just get
It's
rid
kind of the same thing as Alpine, right? Where
Yeah, same situation.
The drivers, they both have the pace, but I don't know that they can recover from the gap that they have right now.
Yeah.
Yep, and then we got 3 more tiers to go, guys. Tier 2 is 1 and no assists. So, geez, I'll just have Andy kick us off again. Why not? Because you're a commentator. You know a lot about this. You and Jim, you guys did the first 2 picks.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think this is going to get more difficult as the weeks go on, because I think we said, didn't we, at the beginning, that I reckon there's going to be 5 to 8 drivers who are going to be kicking around week in, week out of the top end.
Yep.
And I don't put Iron Boogs up there at present.
So that's your pick, or no?
Iron Boogs.
Iron Bugs. Wow.
Yeah, I think he's a good kid. I think he's got some pace. I think he's relatively consistent with his pace. But I think it's just gone up a level in tier 2 with the guys who've dropped down from tier 1. Tier 2 has gone up a level this year.
Yeah, it's one of those where you just go down by proxy because of all the fast guys that joined. Bugs is still pretty damn good.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, next. Shoot, I'll put Jim. Right.
Well, I hate to do this because he picked me in the first round, but he missed the first week, crashed out before turn 1 in week 2, and he's missing next week. So I'm gonna have to go with Jacobson here. He's not even in. He's not even in the top.
Again, just it's the old man tax, isn't it? Right? 'Cause you don't have time to practice. Put yourself into a big hole. You're going on vacations.
Going on vacation. He's gone on 2 vacations now. Like, probably enjoying the hell out of his life.
He's gonna cash out his pension soon.
I was gonna say, his name isn't even on the page.
Yeah, exactly.
I know, because he hasn't raced enough.
Not in the top 20, so I mean, unfortunately, love him to death. I think the world of him, but I just don't think he's got it for tier 2 this year.
Yep.
To be fair, that's like me from whatever tier I was in last year. 5 races in, I hadn't got more points than the reserves that were in. I wasn't in the top 20.
Jeez, MRK got more points than Minico in Tier 1 last season. He's a Tier 5 driver. So it's crazy sometimes how it works out, right? It's just crazy. So yeah, I don't hate those first 2 picks. Siege. I'll have Midnight go next because I'll put the pressure on me to pick a harder one. And I can see him scrolling through his phone already, and trying to figure out who it is.
I think I know. He's been in both races. It's another guy he got demoted from tier 1 into tier 2. We've mentioned him already, Gary 5000. Yeah, I mean he's a previous tier 2 champion, right?
Yeah,
Season
he won it in
5?
season 5. That's a shocker to me. I did not expect him to go off this early. I don't hate it. Just again, the same whole bubble thing. Slow start, hard to recover from.
Right. It's hard, especially with how small the margins are.
Yeah.
As we get into tier 1.
The higher the tiers, the worse it is. Exactly. And I have the very tough decision to make here. If I had to pinpoint one. Is Capacey tier 2 full time?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's throw him in. I'll go with Capacey. I don't think he's
Good
got
pick.
it. Yeah. His name is Capacey, but he ain't that pacey for tier 2. Capacey in for me. Tough one, but just the only like decent name I see here to kick out this early. Dan of the Mac, I think he has decent. Is he a reserve? No, right? He's a full timer for tier 2. He has decent pace. I considered him, but I think he'll be okay. Maybe next media show. He'll get cut.
Maybe in 2 weeks.
Maybe in 2 weeks. See how I feel in 2 weeks. All right. Constructors, we're getting down to the end of this, guys. We're almost there. About 3 more tiers. Constructors, I hate to say it, Jim. I hate to say it. I really do. But we're back. It's Haas. I'm sorry, dog.
We're the first ones out here.
We haven't been good. We just haven't showed up in tier 2. Sharky, I will say, Sharky has had some good pace, but he can't do it all by himself. Jacobson being on all these vacations is a killer. Come back, Jacobson. Don't leave your team.
All these old guys taking vacations.
Who's been reserving from Haas up into tier 2?
Well, we had Mod go in tier 2. He made a bad strategy call late in that race. I told him to make it, so I made the bad strategy call.
We've been taking chances early on here. So.
Yeah.
Um,
And then one more team to jump in this lot here. So we're looking at perhaps Alfa Romeo.
They had a really good
They had a
finish.
good second race, though, so you can't really throw them in there.
Yeah. It's got to be Mercedes in that case, I would say.
I don't know.
Technic Speedy's got it in this pace, too, though. This is tough. Oh.
What's
man,
up?
that is close. I don't want to do it because I like him a lot, but I'm actually leaning towards Alpine again. I just don't think Semtex
Yeah.
can do it.
Yeah, I do. I have to back that, too. Like, because I'm looking at these names towards the bottom, right? McLaren's got a top-end guy. Haas, we already kicked out. Alfa Romeo got a win. Mercedes has Technic Speedy, who I think is enough to keep them relevant for a few more weeks.
who's the other Alpine driver?
The other Alpine's
Semtex.
driver is Semtex and Capacey. We kicked them out of the Drivers' Championship already, so
We kicked Capacey out.
yeah. I'd have to agree
I
with
know,
that sentiment. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think, obviously, Semtex is a great driver and he can challenge for podiums in this tier, but I just think without any help, I just don't think he has. I don't think they can get there.
Yep.
It's going to be tough sledding.
Let's go into
Yep.
Tier 1 drivers, shall we? I'm going to go last. I want to go last in this one. I'll have somebody who wants to take the wheel with this one and kick some people out. I'll have, I don't know. Midnight, start us off, bud. Commentator, Tier 1.
All right. Let me just make sure I'm picking a full-time driver here real quick. You know what? I'm gonna go with a driver who has been in both of these two races. He shows immense pace, but
Oh,
another driver with extreme questionable
this is
decision
my-
making.
This is my pick.
Santiago Robles.
Ooh, I was going to do the same thing. You got me. Damn, I was going to do it. And
Was everybody going to pick Santiago?
I was,
I was gonna pick him. I have first-hand experience with him. I will stop at that. We'll say that. That's been sorted. It's already in the book.
My theory was looking at the penalty points again.
Yeah, he had a rough Silverstone, that's for sure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. 6 penalty points in one race. And fun fact.
If we're talking the defenders list, there he may be one of the names.
Yep.
On it.
Fun fact. Tier 1 has never had a driver's championship with more than 5 penalty points. Just goes to show how fine the margins are. And if that trend holds, it's not possible, my guy.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll have, I guess, Andy, you can go next. I want to go last.
I'm going to go with a guy who I know does have some pace. I find this tier really difficult. Like, really, really difficult. Because there's people in the bottom half who I think, they can win races. But I'm going to go for Zeech.
Oof. I don't hate it.
He's had a rough start. No points in
Difficult,
2
but
races.
yeah.
Also took a trip to the steward's room. So,
Yeah. And, just looking at things like 9 seconds worth of penalties. Qatar. And I know a lot of people have penalties at Qatar.
yep.
Jim.
It's a tough one. I don't hate the pick. There's a lot of names up here that you can get rid of early doors because of how top heavy tier 1 is. Yep. All right, Jim, let's go.
Another driver that's been around for a few years in MRL. Obviously, we know he has the pace, but I just think, like you said, with how top heavy tier 1 is, I'm gonna have to let Braided Axe go. I mean, great.
Yeah.
But another one where, you're talking about Giants fan, Drix, Minico, now Magical Forehead. Don't blink. Those are 5 names right there that can be battling for the champion, right?
They'll be taking the lion's share of points. There's not gonna be a lot to go around after those top 5. So I don't hate the logic there. That's for sure.
Outside of those 5, pickings are slim, and if you don't have any points for the first 2 races, that's just a tough spot to be in tier 1.
Yeah, so Ice Cream Sandwich just came in saying, what does crossed off mean? So crossed off means that in the eyes of the media team and like the commentators, we believe you're out of contention for the championship and you don't have it in your locker to win the title. That's what we're saying. It's kind of like that.
Definitely not on the list yet. So don't
Yeah,
worry about it.
you're doing good, Ice Cream Sandwich. Keep it up.
Fine.
Everyone loves a good ice cream sandwich. You can't hate ice cream sandwich. All right, so I have an interesting decision to make here because I have a lot of friends in this tier, guys that I don't want to do this to. So I don't want to do it. He's such a nice guy, but he's gonna hate me for this. But I'm just gonna type it in. You guys can read it out. It's Speedy Goose. It sucks to do this so early. Like, it really does. I like the guy so much. He's such a nice guy. Like, actually, wait, no. Screw that. No, I didn't realize he was gone already. Andy, get him out of here. What the hell? No. Andy. He was on the list. I did not realize he has not been picked yet. Sorry. We'll save the emotional Speedy Goose announcement for the next one. Get him out of here. I forgot about that. I forgot Andy was still on the list. Get him out of here, man. I'm sorry. You're doing great in no assist here, though. I won't cross you off there. And here we go. Constructors.
What a turnaround that was.
Yeah, I forgot. I gave like this whole emotional thing because of Speedy Goose, but shoot, maybe 2 weeks from now I'll be doing the same thing.
I like the fact that it was really emotional because it was Speedy Goose, and then because it's Andy, it's like, no, get him out.
Get him out. I don't know you much. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Alrighty, so tier 1 constructors. We got a pinpoint 2.
I'll bite the bullet here first off.
Let's do it.
Go.
I'll do the same thing.
Definitely not.
Get us out of here. I was gonna do the same exact thing.
Like I said, you guys both have pace, so you can battle for bottom points, but
Huge
you
hole.
guys are
We needed a much better first 2 weeks to keep in this contention, and it's just not going to happen. We're going to have the few weeks where one of us will do really well, one of us will have a little bit of a stinker of a race, But
Yep.
you're not going to see us both in the top 10 very often at the same time. So
No.
I don't hate it. In fact, I would have done it. I would have done it myself.
Yep.
And then if I had to pick a second team,
This is really hard.
I can't do Mercedes. Not a chance in hell I do Mercedes.
I think it's Ferrari.
It'd be disrespectful to Drix.
Oh, we can't kick.
We can't kick Ferrari out this early with Zylo. Surely not, right?
I mean,
Maybe.
Sketchy Bull is obviously a great driver. He's been a great driver in this league for a long time, but Snaky
Yeah,
hasn't
that's true.
really shown me anything yet. As
I
far as the
do
first-
not hate the Alpine pick.
It's Alpine.
Whatever.
Alpine.
Alpine, right?
right? Like I
Yeah,
said, well,
agreed.
it's kind of what we've been going here every tier is that, like, there's one really good driver and then one driver that hasn't really shown anything yet. So it's like, can that one really fast driver carry the team for the rest of the season? And I just don't think so.
And it's just the beauty of the draft, right? You're not seeing a lot of teams with two stacked drivers where it's such an easy decision to get them out of there. Like, all these decisions are tough, especially because it's so early in the season. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, I
crazy.
mean, two
It's going to
like
be
you
each
said,
week now.
most of the teams have, someone's missed a week, someone's had a bad week. Qatar is the first time we've raced it this season. I mean, ever,
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
I mean, there's a lot of variables going on early with the first 2 weeks. So,
And now we're
Like you
into tier no assist.
like Andy said, hopefully they all prove us wrong, and everyone has a great week next week that we cross off.
Yep. For the sake of the league parity, right? Alrighty.
Yep.
No assist driver. I'll kick us off here. I'll get him out of here. See, I'm gonna make a executive decision here. So we can't kick off Wiffles because he's not a full timer and he got replaced full time. So we want to have him on the list, but others you can throw away. And I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Nikki G, sorry, bud. Just a complete tough guitar race for him in his debut.
Yeah.
Didn't go well for him. And you need a lot of pace to be anywhere near the front, and he's got nothing there. Love the guy. Nice guy.
I mean, honestly, we could take 17 drivers off.
You could take off a lot of the grid right now, but yeah. No assist. Yeah. But we're going with the most obvious ones first, so let's get them out of there first.
Okay.
And with that, I'll have Jim go next. That's good.
We're gonna take J-Joe off of the list here.
See, this is one I didn't expect. J-Joe.
Right?
This early.
I mean, look at his Qatar race. He did not finish and
Yes.
had 8 seconds of penalties. I mean, that is just
From a points perspective, it makes sense. Non-factor in the second race, struggled the first
obviously
race.
at speed. He's a tier 2 driver. I mean, he is very fast. But when you turn all the assists off and the line off, it's a whole different world.
Yep,
I feel.
whole different ball game. All right, Andy.
That me?
Yep, what you got?
Is Freebird full time?
He is full time.
He sure is.
I
Mhm.
just don't see his name on the left.
Yes,
He
that's
missed week
because he missed week 1, but he showed up week 2 and he did get 17th.
He did finish the race. No, he crashed on the last lap. He only did 28 laps.
Yep.
Or he was lapped.
No, they were all lapped. All those plus ones, they
He
were
was just
lapped. Yep.
So he did finish the race.
Yeah, when Nathan Pogus is driving around, everyone gets lapped
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah, he's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go Freebird because he's missed a week. He's not scored points the following week. You're 20% into the season, you got no points.
Yep.
Yep.
You're not winning the title.
Don't hate it. I really don't.
Honestly, like you said, you could put any number of 17 drivers on this list, and we would probably not disagree. As long as you don't put the top 3 on there.
Yep. So now, who hasn't picked Midnight, right? and you drive this
Yeah,
tier,
yeah.
so you should know who to pick here. I think there's an obvious one. Let's see if you're thinking of what I'm thinking.
Well, there was one name that popped right out, and I'm gonna do it again. Screw it.
Just do it. I know what you're thinking.
MRK.
Yeah.
2 for 2 with me, man.
Oh man, everyone on MRK's nice list, I'll tell you. New guy, still getting used to no assists, right?
promise you were singing your praises earlier. I promise.
Off the track, he is A1. We love him off the track. He's great. Even
Yes,
on the
we
track,
do.
he's a nice guy too. He's very, very good racing etiquette, but pace-wise, just lacking a little bit still.
Yep.
And that's okay.
Yeah,
I was there
Yep.
too.
everybody starts somewhere.
Yep.
So I'm honestly shocked that there is a name that is still on this list and has not come off. I don't know what the heck Bugs needs to do to get on this list. His top end pace ain't there, dog. He's more so of a survivalist, but maybe in the next few weeks we'll get Bugs on the list. Yep.
Yeah.
Iron Bugs.
I didn't want to pick him twice.
Midnight had no problem picking MRK twice, I'll tell you. He was happy to do so.
He finished the points in Silverstone, okay? So, I mean,
He did.
he was faster than me. So, we'll give him that. He gets another week of survival.
Yeah.
Bugs, you might be my teammate, but I know your limitations. I'm not delusional, kid.
More Alpine.
More Alpine, but all right. Now we're on the final slide of the night, guys. Well, I promise we're almost 2 hours. We're 2 hours into this thing.
Yeah, I've got to
Went
be
a
up,
lot
I've got to be
longer
up
than
in 3.5 hours.
Jeez,
Oh,
yeah.
jeez.
feel for you. All right,
More brewskis.
let's get a guy out of here.
Way too many during the stream, so. Okay.
I think there's an obvious
Williams?
team. Yeah, but I was thinking Williams. But actually, no, I can't do Williams. Excuse me, we can't. Because Ketchen is now
Oh,
full
you're
time
right.
for Williams. So we can't do
Ketchen,
that.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah,
Right, so yeah, throw them out.
we can't throw
Mercedes
them
has
out.
got MK and Giants fans, so we can't really throw them out either.
Yeah. Shoot. Crap.
Midnight, I hate to do this to you, but we're kind of looking at Red Bull right now.
Ah!
No, I got a better one.
Okay.
Let's get Haas out of here.
Yeah, come on. Just throw Haas out of all the championship battles.
Well,
right
this
now.
one we had no choice, dog. It's some. We got to get rid of Moldy and Gibbsy. Moldy on his day can do well.
Yep.
Doesn't happen a lot though. Same with Gibbsy.
Yep. But I think we may have to look into Red Bull for the second pick as well. Anyway.
Yeah.
I tell you, we actually might have to.
Yeah.
It's either them or the Alpha Tauris, but I think Drunken Shamrock's too quick to throw out of here.
Rock is just too fast.
He had a bad Qatar race, but that's a
Very
new
bad
track.
guitar.
He's like top 5 finisher most of the time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or we can
Like,
do Alpha. No, Chili always too quick. Can't do Alpha.
I honestly think when Jem brought it up. I mean, the reason I was so upset is because I feel like again, me and Benzo, we can fight for points at the bottom half, but that's like
That's like
It's
the
not
limit,
even-
right?
Team
Yeah.
all. Like, you guys can battle for bottom half points, like 7th and 9th in Qatar, but do you have the pace to bring a top 5
Yeah.
around?
I think it is definitely a choice, obvious choice. Red Bull. Let's do it. I just don't think anyone else is obvious to get out of here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna.
This is
That's
the show
everything.
when, by the way, the picks are supposed to have been easier,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
and we're
I honestly think the
2
next.
hours deep.
Yeah, I honestly think the next one will be a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because
Think so.
it'll be clearer. I think we'll have more teams out of it.
right.
I think constructors is the hardest one to do. Drivers we had an inkling, but
Yeah, yeah.
constructors was way
I
too
think-
much to think about.
Just for the next, like, this week and next week are going to be difficult because there's just so much variation going on in the first
Yep,
two
for
to
sure.
4. I think as we get closer to the end, it will be more clear.
Yep, and I think that's what we're gonna call it a night, guys. A hell of a stream, by the way, guys. 2 hours in, I thought we'd be done in an hour. Jesus, I had a miscalculation
Yo,
there.
just Just want to draw your attention, Yellow, to the comments in chat from your Noah.
Oh, I saw them.
Teammate.
I saw them. Look, I told him he knows his one job is to just be relevant. I didn't tell him to be a champion. He will not be.
I was the right choice in Pun's Discord.
I did. I still think he was the good choice when the time was there, but he's just not a championship winner in any. Let's be honest here, guys. He doesn't have the pace for that, but he does other things that I do enjoy. Like he makes good strategy calls. He's able to hold people off when he needs to. He's very funny. Yeah.
Know some card tricks.
Know some card tricks. All right, well,
Tell some jokes.
it was a fun one, guys. We're gonna have to sign off here. Any last words for the stream before we get it out of here, guys? No?
Thank you.
All right, man.
Hey,
We'll see you, everybody in chat. Those that stuck around the whole 2 hours. Happy you guys were here. Hopefully it was fun. I had a lot of fun doing this. And it'll be a lot more streamlined next time. We had a lot of kinks to work out through this time, but I think we're good. We'll see you guys around. Appreciate it. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.